Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the famous trilogy of stars that made the movies into worldwide phenomena,
A New Hope. The Skywalker joins forces with the Jedi Knight, a cocky pilot, a Wookie, and 2 droids to save the galaxy from the Empire's world-destroying battle station, while also attempting to rescue Princess Leia from the mysterious Darth Vader. We know you all know this story.
Yeah, I mean it's the movies that are etched into American pop culture, and as you know, have been known worldwide now from all over the globe.
I actually got to read the novel after seeing the movie, so of course, when I originally saw the movie, I did not know that this, what we thought was just a standalone movie, was actually the part of a trilogy.
Right.
It wasn't just a single story. And I remember being excited and seeing it was great. I was excited just like every other kid, blah, 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 great. And then realizing that, okay, there's more to this story, huh? And then I remember one of my uncles telling me, that's the end. But there's another one coming out. And this is before how it is now, where you do prequels, sequels, trans-sequels, whatever. And I was like, but how can you be putting another movie out? And it was the end.
Right.
Because he said they're recording them in reverse. So the most exciting part, I guess, to get fans hooked who hadn't read the novels was to put the last one out, and it was exciting and spectacular. And you know about all the action figures and all the merchandising and everything that went into this movie, real heavy, that now are collectibles for people all over the world.
Right.
And very, very valuable if you have the originals from this movie that aired in 1977.
Right. And like you said, it's sort of like a rite of passage for a lot of sci-fi fans to see this movie. Like you have the people that watched when it first came out, then they show their kids and the grandkids, great-grandkids. All these generations of fans come from this movie. Mm-hmm. And now, you know, with Disney and now wants to continuously have Star Wars, it was just a thing where it came and, you know, it's not going to be forgotten, of course, even before Disney had bought it, but it was something that was cherished by so many fans. And this trilogy just means a lot to everybody. And it's amazing how these movies have just stayed around this long. It's like it's still new.
Well, also, in all fairness, George Lucas, which I was always reminded of a lot, always put out different versions, remastered, extended. He was constantly putting out different versions of the movies, right, which really pissed off a lot of diehard fans for the trilogy. Mm-hmm. They wanted it to be just as it was when it originally aired in theaters, mm-hmm, or played in theaters, I should say. But he kept putting out different versions, and they really didn't like it. They wanted it to just stay as it was. Mm-hmm. So in all fairness, George Lucas was kind of like the original Disney in terms of always, every so many years, mm-hmm, re-releasing the movies under a guise of additional footage and this and interviews and right, that. And constantly there were new versions, and then some of the versions may have added extra footage, but then the aspect would be changed, mm-hmm, or something was taken out, mm-hmm, or new footage was added, which gave the movie a whole different feel. And again, purists were really not right, liking it. So this is just continuing the legacy. Right. The only thing is, since it was his baby, he really had a right to do it.
Right, and he was the creator of it, so yeah.
And it's his baby. It's like George Lucas had a child, and he birthed it, and he spent his whole life writing and creating this. I mean, this was his child, literally, you could say. And when we found out that he had sold it, I was just floored. I'm like, how can you sell this? It was like you had a baby and you taught it and cared for it and you saw it grow up, and then you sent it out to the world and it became a success, and then after so many years you decided to write your child off. So,
no, but for the movie, now we pretty much know all the stars in here. You know Carrie Fisher, of course you know Mark Hamill, or you know Anthony Daniels, James Earl Jones, Kenny Baker, all just superstars now.
Now, right, and when this originally came out, I think from what I remember correctly, only Anthony Daniels was well known, and James Earl Jones, and Max von Sydow were the ones who were really famous.
Right.
But the main stars weren't.
Right. So it's really crazy when you think about it to start off, and then you see now, and then like you said, Mark Hamill and others are just in
Household
everything,
names.
right?
Yeah.
And just everything and legends among all types of fans, not just for Star Wars fans, but other movies they've been in and successful series and movies. They are just legendary, and it all started with this movie.
And all of them were box office gold. I mean, literally in terms of you put them in a movie, pretty much people were going to come see it. Mark Hamill, as we know, has crossed over from live action into voiceovers, and he's also become an iconoclast in voiceover. And we know who he is when we hear him, and when we don't, we're shocked that it's him because he's so versatile and amazing, and he's just gone on to just maximize on the talent he's been given.
Right. And I do remember seeing this movie quite a few years ago when it aired on TV. They were doing a special marathon of airing all the Star Wars movies before the release. I think so. It was TBS or TNT. They were releasing all the Star Wars movies and having a marathon of them for several days.
Right.
From the prequel and the original trilogy. And it was in honor of The Force Awakens and bringing back the franchise.
Right. And you had never seen either three of the original trilogy.
Right. So, I couldn't sit in front of the TV for hours on end. So, one day, I watched A New Hope. And the next day, I watched the second movie. And then the third day, I watched the third movie.
And I watched it again with you.
Right.
And of course, I remember this. Right. I guess you're probably going, oh, Mom. But it was fun watching it with you.
Exactly. And it was really fun. And then I watched the prequel movies on DVD from our uncle.
Right.
So, I was able to watch the whole franchise all the way up to the new movie that was being released at the time.
So let's talk about what this movie meant in terms of not only being a catalyst for science fiction movement, meant in terms of changing the way movies were made forever,
right,
and written forever, script writing, in terms of blockbusters.
Yes, this is one of the most iconic movies, not just for box office releases, but for just openings and releases and trailers of all time. And you got people now, when they want to do Star Wars parodies and stuff, if you are a hardcore fan or grew up with it, when they're parodying the original trailer, they want to parody scenes, they want to parody trailers, they want to parody the voice, makeshift the same plots from it, or do shout outs. They'll have original actors on it. Heck, Family Guy did an entire trilogy special where the characters reenact the movies in a Seth MacFarlane way. And so that there has to be...
Phineas and Ferb.
Yes,
really had nothing to do with the movie.
Right, they were taking place in the Star Wars universe, and the movie was happening in the background.
Right.
And heck, there was even a sort of the black sheep of Star Wars. I know it's called the Star Wars Holiday Special. And it's like, and even George Lucas said, I would probably burn it if I could. I've never really seen it. I've seen it through a review, and it's like, don't do this again.
And it's incredible how after all these decades, so many lines from the movie and so many quotes by the characters are still, as you said, a part of pop culture, are still famous. And when anyone hears them of any age, even ones such as yourself, you know what movie they're from.
Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
And the Force be with you.
Yes. Oh, and then Han shot first, so you know for sure. So, this movie is definitely iconic in so many ways and forms that there is not enough time in the world to explain the legacy it has, the impact it had from the time it came out all the way to present day, and the new things that are coming out. And it's just amazing how much talent and effort went into this story from before it was even a movie, and it clearly shows how much he cared about this project and this universe he had created.
I would say that this movie itself has become the Hollywood Bible, so to speak, on how to do a movie. Because decades later, as we mentioned, other movie studios and writers and producers and directors, they're all not only still imitating or even inspired by this decades later, but I want to cast a Harrison Ford type character.
Mhm.
I want to cast a Carrie Fisher type character.
Right.
I want to cast a Mark Hamill type character.
Right.
They've all become types in
Right.
Hollywood based on the acting they did when they cast. And you've seen scripts and they'll say Harrison Ford type, Mark Hamill type, Carrie Fisher type,
Right.
James Earl Jones type. They have ascended
Right.
and become the gauge by which other actors are measured, other movies are measured, even other franchises and stories. I mean, think about other movies, franchises such as Harry Potter,
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings. They all were inspired by this particular trilogy.
Right.
In the way that they were done and formatted and how they had the different stories that took place in each movie.
Right.
The only difference is they didn't put the last out first. They've had a chronological happening.
Right.
I guess I could take that back for Harry Potter now with the
With
Red Man
Fantastic
movies,
Beasts
right?
and stuff, yeah.
Right. But before that, yes, it was all chronological and done in order.
Right. So, we know you most likely have seen Star Wars as a whole in a movie, so...
The original, as we spoke, A New Hope.
Right.
And let us know what this movie means to you in the comments below. When did you see it? How old were you? Did you see it in the theater? Did you first see it on DVD or in a marathon on TV like Rascal? What does it mean to your parents? Did they introduce you to it? Are you the parent and you're listening?
Mhm.
And what has it meant to you? Are you hardcore Star Wars fan? Are you looking forward to the last movie, Disney says, wink wink, that's coming out this month? Let us know everything in the comments below. We can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ask Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace and happy holidays.
Yes.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? My man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.